Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And click the bell icon for notifications so you guys don't miss a single video. And now... Welcome back to ImTheDude Games and a somewhat different God of War video.
It's called God of Pog. No.
God of Pog.
I wanted to say that, but then I'm like, wait. That's highly inappropriate in the first minute.
Fat ass white god. Alright, there's a purpose to this video. I had the camera zoomed in on the top of his head because I wanted to make a joke. I'm like, I never noticed how bald Kratos was.
But yeah,
and the carpet matches the drapes.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's super shaven.
Either that or he's got the same facial hair he's got down there.
It's like, that's how Super Saiyan, he's super shaven.
Super shaven! Anyway.
We're gonna be fucking around more than reading.
Yeah, I know. It's probably going to be a longer video because it's going to contain a lot of lore reading, but it's also going to be a review as well at the end. This is going to be like the final God of War video that we do before we move on to the next level. Yes, exactly, because we're gamers and that's what we do.
Level up.
Before we move on to our next Let's Play. So, yeah. I'm thinking
I can't believe you just fucking said Pog as fat ass white guy. And I'm like, now I can't unthink that now.
Well, I mean, it's true in his case.
He doesn't have a fat ass though.
Well, I mean, have you seen Kratos? There's a reason why all the Greek honeys wanted
I'm not
him.
a freak and watch pornos relating to video game characters.
Christ.
So sorry, I have never seen Kratos' bare ass.
I'm gonna just stick to all the stuff in the lore tabs because there's a lot here, and all of this is stuff that's been written down in Atreus' journal throughout the course of the game. And for those of you that are interested that may not know, 3 years after this game has been released, almost 4. There is actually a physical 120-page book called God of War Lore and Legends, which is legit Atreus' journal from the game that details everything, which is really cool.
What's kind of funny, too, about the notebook thing that in the game here, it's almost like freaking Atreus' version of the Poetic Eddas.
Almost.
It's essentially what it kind of is, but like it's in his
it's just the documentation of their journey throughout the game and what they discovered. So we'll start with the Jötnar shrines. Hrungnir, a mighty giant made of frost and stone, looks like he had a huge fight with Aesir and Vanir gods. He battles Thor, and it looks like they both lose. Hrungnir the brawler, a head of stone, but the mind of a child. Odin tricks him into getting drunk and rowdy in Asgard. I think I remember hearing this story somewhere else. Thor smashes his head, but he ends up crushed, and everybody laughs. Aesir are the worst.
Just like Pootie Tang.
Skadi, legendary giant huntress.
Yes.
One of Mother's favorites.
Yep.
She could hunt birds, boars, deer, anything. Her father taught her how, but what happened to him? Their father, Thjazi, could take the form of any creature. Odin got jealous and tricked Skadi into hunting an eagle that was Thjazi in disguise. Is she still out there somewhere under the frozen mountains?
Yep, Skadi. She's also in the
Potentially
Poetic
in
Eddas, too.
Ragnarok.
Yep, she's a real goddess too.
Skull and Hati, wolf giants. Skull chases the sun and Hati the moon. What happens when they catch their prey? It looks like a massive fight. Odin, Thor, and the world serpent. Could it be? Ragnarok! Odin knows the prophecy and sent them anyway. Because Mimir says he's always trying to control everything. Until then, they're the bringers of day and night that keep the sun and moon moving. Because they're afraid to be eaten by giant wolves. Duh. Anyway. Ymir. This one's confusing. Ymir is the first giant, and things spring from his body.
Kicking.
Sorry. Not just other giants, but wind, trees, sun, maggots that turn into dwarves, maybe? Then Odin kills him. But where did he come from? So Ymir came from fire and ice, and all lands and creatures came from his flesh, including the Aesir, who then slew him to create order. In other words, to take control. The first giant was Odin's first victim. Wow. I think he wrote like secondary entries into some of these after he learned more from Mimir, is what it seems like. Bergelmir. Or some of these, because I read a lot of these before we got Mimir, so some of these might only contain like one set of writing. That might be interesting. Because Mimir always has something to offer, like more information to offer.
Yeah.
Bergelmir. A giant king of burgers with many, many children. Looks like he arrived on a sea of blood. And when he died, he left a sea of tears. Dead, but not murdered for once. Groa. Kind of on the nose. A giant sorceress and a powerful seer, slain by Odin. Did he steal her book of visions? Called the Knowledge Keeper, Groa was the first to have a vision of Ragnarok. She trusted Odin as a friend. Bad idea. Jormungandr, my friend. My friend. The world serpent spans all the waters of Midgard. Maybe the only one big enough to beat Thor. I still can't believe we met him. And then we went inside of him. Giggity.
And then they were inside of him.
Now that I've heard Mimir talk to Jormungandr in his ancient tongue, I wonder if I could figure out how to do it. Oh, we saw that, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
That was kick-ass. Starkather. A giant with 8 arms swinging 4 swords until Thor chopped him up. Made stew. Why did the gods gang up on him? Because he had 4 arms.
He had
8 arms, sorry.
Swinging 4
swords. Why didn't he swing 8 swords? That's why he got beaten.
Just read.
That's why he got beaten. Odin plotted to destroy Starkather after hearing Mimir praise him as a potential leader of giants. They spread rumors and gathered a mob, and when he surrendered to clear his name, Thor murdered him.
Everyone dies.
Surtur, yeah. Ragnarok. Everyone dies in the end. Surtur. Son of a bitch, he's still alive. An ancient fire giant of Muspelheim. He forged a sword of fire and fought, or will fight, Thor and Odin. Prophecy says Surtur the Brave will die at Ragnarok, but take Asgard with him. Mimir says it's part of a grand cycle of death and rebirth, and Surtur accepts his fate. Thamar. I was mispronouncing it during the Let's Play. I kept thinking it was a solid T. Sometimes THs are pronounced as solid Ts, but this one's a traditional TH.
The little D with the little loop, that's a TH sound.
Yeah, Thamur. The greatest stonemason. Oh, so Thamur's the stonemason. That's why the collector's edition was called the Stonemasons edition. I didn't realize that. No, I didn't realize that. I didn't play the game, so I didn't have all the information. So I was calling like Mimir or somebody else the stonemason. I had no idea.
Yeah.
The greatest stonemason.
You're pronouncing Aesir wrong again too.
Aesir. Aesir. They say Aesir, so I pronounce.
They say Aesir, but in the book it says it's pronounced with like I. The AE is reversed to make it always sound like an I. That's what the book said on my.
Yeah.
Aesir.
Stonemason, one of the biggest giants of all. He argues with his son, Hrimthur, strikes him, and gets lost looking for him. Thor chisels Thamur in the head and crushes a whole town. Okay. Thamur was building a wall around Jotunheim to protect giants from the Aesir. Feels weird to say it that way. Did it ever get finished? Apparently not.
That's what the book said. I don't know. The book is actually written by someone who actually speaks Old Nordic, so.
Okay.
So it's I. The A. They even said anything with an AE like that is always pronounced like I, like your eyeball.
Right. Thrym. A frost giant king who stole Thor's hammer, but it looks like Thor kills everyone anyway. Thrym the Cunning ransomed Mjolnir for Freya, and Odin went along to sneak Thor into Jotunheim. If not for Freya, he might have killed every last giant there.
Yeah.
Well, they all looked like they all died anyway, but there's only so many giants left alive. Now these are the legitimate lore markers that we found throughout all of Midgard, and there are, I believe, 37 of them. There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. This video's going to be a lot. Motsognir's throne. After many winters, the stronghold of Konungsgard is complete. Motsognir has invited all citizens to attend the grand ceremony in the throne room. There we await the calming words of our king, who promises everlasting safety and prosperity. This new land is even more fertile than Vithurgard. And with Reagan as our stalwart sentry, we fear not from the Reavers, dark elves, nor any malevolent force. The reign of King Motsognir is truly blessed by Tyr himself. All hail the Dwarf King, protector of man. Sounds like they actually liked this Dwarf King. The people in Vithurgard sure didn't. I wonder what changed. Ronald Reagan of Konungsgard.
The Reagans of Konungsgard.
Reagan was actually one of the dragons we freed. I might have done it on screen, I don't know. Much like Otter of Vithurgard, Reagan has been conscripted as head sentry of Konungsgard. Though he may occasionally struggle against his bindings, he takes great pride in his task. His thunderous breath, while extraordinarily dangerous, is merely his way of expressing pride. However, do take caution during weekly maintenance of the dragon shrines. Really? Weekly maintenance of the dragon shrines. So these were upkept.
Yeah.
Of the dragon shrines. Reagan will attempt to use his breath on you. This is not meant as an attack. It is merely his own cheeky way of passing the time? What? But make sure you vacate the area immediately because it will kill you. All rumors that Reagan's presence attracts the dark elves of Alfheim is pure fiction. King Motsognir will protect us from all beasts as he has done time and time again. Yeah, I don't believe any of this. Atreus. The ruins of Vithurgard. Nothing remains of Vithurgard except the ruins of Motsognir's cruelty. The once fertile soil is barren, soaked with the blood of both hunters and the hunted. It was the noble dwarf king himself who demanded the bloodshed. He who conscripted the gentle farmers of these lands into an army of ill-equipped hunters. He whose thirst for savage beasts produced a legion of widows. The castle still stands for those foolish enough to scavenge wherein dwells the deadliest of his quarry. Let caution guide you. Yikes. Doesn't sound like a very nice place. Father will probably want to visit anyways to look for useful resources. He's gotten a little predictable. Yeah. Atreus! It's gotten a little predictable, but I'm still having fun seeing new places with him. You cheeky little bastard. An unbreakable chain. Otter has escaped his binds yet again. Instead of flying off this time, he seeks revenge on his captors and is determined to turn Vithurgard to ash. I think this was the first dragon.
Yeah.
We seek shelter in the outlying caves where we found sanctuary in the past. Our king assures us his next chain will be unbreakable. If anyone can build an unbreakable chain, it's Motsognir, architect of the great stronghold of Konungsgard. Leader of a glorious new age in Vithurgard, all hail the Dwarf King, protector of man. These people seem a little friendlier for all the good it did them. The Great Mountain. When the mountain was cold, it was Oh god, I can't read that word! Melotha and Onpries? I don't know. Who gave it life, wandering souls from... It's a big O. Who gave it life, wandering souls from distant lands who had tasted of the mead of poetry, and in search of inspiration found each other, and in each other found great love and sex. To the summit of Midgard's great mountain, a secret bridge was built. Lots of murder and sex. Here they would make their... Here they would make their hearth and fortress to live free of prophecy.
Live free or die hard.
And know only themselves and each other. The mountain became a shelter for the outcast and the artist.
Hey, yeah.
For hey, yeah.
You said outcast, like, hey, yeah.
For Jotnar and new friends made, and to this beacon many more souls made pilgrimage even now as We shelter from the storm. Let none forget the beckoning spirit of the mountain that was. Sounds like the mountain used to be pretty amazing. Mom always did love artists. Rites of Fjorgen. Rites of Fjorgen. Fjorgen. Here we bear witness to the funeral rites of Fjorgen, of the Jotnar, goddess of the earth and trees. For her beauty she was seduced, for her love she was betrayed, and for her gift of life, her life was claimed. This is beautiful poetry. To the summit and across the bridge she shall be borne, where nevermore the thunder may find her. And that was a reference to Thor. Did Thor kill his own mother? Oh yeah, Fjorgen. Mother of Thor. Did Thor kill his own mother? Was that the first giant he killed? What does it mean? It would not surprise me.
Yeah.
Would not surprise me at all if he did. A long, cruel war. Here fell Nirthus of the Vanir, slain by Magni and Modi, sons of Thor. The fact that they managed to kill anyone astounds me. Modi's a cuck and fucking Magni's a Deutsch. A douchey man. The Jotnar bear witness to the cruelty of this long war. Neither Aesir nor Vanir may triumph, it is foreseen, but what may be left of Midgard before they lay down arms. The giants wanted peace. No wonder they liked tears so much. Cost of the hunt. 6 wolves, 2 men. Lo, do they call to me. 13 Draugr, 9 men. Lo, do they call to me. 3 Taitzelworms, 6 men. Lo, do they call to me. 1 troll, 1 and 40 men. Lo, do they call to me. 1 dragon, 9 and 90 men. Lo, do they call to me. Sounds like these people weren't very good at hunting. Maybe they should have just stuck with deer and boar.
Yeah.
Love Atreus's commentary. It's great. The Gravedigger. While I throw dirt on the mangled citizens of Vithurgard, Motsognir looks upon his newly caged beast with a gleeful fervor. I curse his name. The Dwarf King set the capture of trolls and dragons above the safety of his own followers, the same followers who served and revered him, hunted these monsters, and died forgotten. My attempt to free the beast failed, and Motsognir's punishment was swift. I am banned from Conan's guard, demoted to town gravedigger. A fitting end for a once proud hunter whose prey hastened the fall of Vithurgard. Berhold. The hunt for death. We baited the beast with a stuck fawn. Her cries echoed on the morning breeze. It did not take long for death's hammer to approach. The smell of burnt grass, the bleating of the dying fawn, the fear of imminent death. Many could not hold their breakfast. When it stepped into the clearing, our attack was swift. The vanguard died instantly, burned to ash. No time to react. The hunt continued as we led the enraged troll to the Lake of Nine. There we subdued it, but not before losing 30 more men. Upon our return, King Motsognir proclaimed a week of celebration. The festivities were sparsely attended, though not for lack of pride in the victory. The population of Vithurgard had just been reduced by a quarter. Jesus. I fear this sad irony was lost on the dwarf. Berhold. It's no wonder everyone in fucking Midgard is dead. Especially with everything else being out of balance because of the Aesir. What they did. Prayer to Odin. Ugh. Find here our sacrifice, mighty Allfather, and deliver Midgard from hell's wild hunt. Odin, wisest of all, whose breath gave life to Ask and Embla, first among our people, we beg your protection. Send forth your noble Valkyries and call the deathless. Send forth your noble sons.
So it is correct.
Thor and Balder to shield us. Send forth dragons to consume the frigid horde. Save our souls that we may serve you evermore. I don't think Odin got the message, or he didn't care.
So it's Aesir.
It is Icer. Wow, okay.
Well, it's not seer, it's Icer.
Icer?
Icer.
Icer.
Here. I'm trying to rewind it.
The Light of Alfheim. From the light we are born, and to light we return. The light is the river of souls, transforming us, consuming us, transcending life and death. The light is the truth. The light is all. Okay, the light sounds great, but maybe it also makes you crazy.
Yeah, right.
Beware of Sather. Beware of Sather and those who practice it. Their sorcery is insidious and ever-changing. And so are the souls who master it. The more power they summon, the less they are themselves. Is that how they turn into revenants?
Yeah.
Prayer to Frigg. Hail Frigg, generous Frigg, who gave the world her brightest light, young Balder, gleaming god, pride of the Aesir, Odin's son, and heir to Asgard. Long may she protect him. Long may he protect us. Hail Balder the Golden. Hail Frigg, beloved of all. Hail Odin, All-Father. Seems like nobody who counted on the Aesir is still around. Yeah, no shit. The Curse of Vivaldi. Turn back. Upon this place sits the Curse of Vivaldi, whose talents threatened the gods of Asgard. The mists of Niflheim were made a weapon by my father's alchemy.
And nipples.
What? And nipples? Did you say?
Every time I hear the name Niflheim, like I know it says Niflheim and I can read it. but
Niflheim!
Niflheim. It's just like I just want
Realm of cold, frosty nips.
cold, perky, frosted nips.
Weapon of my father's alchemy, and turned upon their creator. His skill as an inventor and craftsman were unrivaled. But it was his talent and genius which drew the ire of the Aesir in the first place. Therefore I, Motsignir, renounce this place. I renounce dwarven kind.
I renounce superpowers.
I am off to seek refuge and self-imposed exile in Midgard. Burp. Those who do not flee this realm will join my father in the grave. Motsignir, son of Vivaldi.
Love, Motsignir.
All this information's making me burp. Andvari's invention. Through this path lies the mines of Volunder. This great endeavor was made possible by Andvari the alchemist, son of Vivaldi, through whose ingenuity the very stone and bedrock was turned from obstacle to mighty tool of industry. A dwarven miner's greatest fear has always been running afoul of the ancients, but through Andvari's genius, they are now no more than tools in our righteous undertaking. A new age for dwarves dawns here. No mere miners, but masters of iron, whose greatest craft is the future itself. Great miners and craftsmen of the mountain halls.
All right.
I love dwarves so much.
Ow.
Anyway. Fafnir's... Stop it. Fafnir's Tale. If you're reading this, go away!
You don't belong here.
You don't belong here.
This is
This
my
is my ravine. And don't touch any of my stuff on your way out. You're still here? I told you to... Reading this is bizarre. I told you to leave. These are my treasures, and you can't have them. The best stuff is in my storeroom anyways. Fafnir got turned into a dragon, by the way, in the game. But don't even think about going there. That place is well guarded. I made sure of that. He just didn't want us to get the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes.
Just leave me be. I don't need you. I don't need anybody. Certainly not any of Vivaldi's stupid sons warning me about the dangers of greed.
In today's world, that usually means fuck this, fuck that, fuck all of you.
I only need look in my newly acquired Vanir mirror to see who is the fairest of them all.
That's why he's a ghost.
What it does to my skin, but I don't care.
Giggity.
My treasure makes me feel safe, and it warms me from the inside like the breath of a dragon. Get lost, Fafnir. No wonder he turns into a fucking dragon.
Grow up.
The Hreisla Farmother. To know
Who?
the Hreisla Farmother.
Oh, Azela? Okay.
Hreisla Farmother.
Okay.
Stop it. I'm not repeating myself again.
One more time.
To know the Hreisla Farmother is to know the brutal history of these lands. Shut up. Before the Great Flood.
I farted again, but it was quiet.
Before the Great Flood. Before the desolation of Smaug.
Right?
Men lived peacefully in Midgard. The dead stayed dead. Draugr were a rarity.
And ate 7 meals.
A day. The use of Sather magic was considered deeply shameful. The Hreisla Farmother is of the old ways. When a man's worth is measured by how well he swings a blade. Strength, our highest virtue. These are harsh lands, and they are no place for the weak. The strong will prosper in life and in death. Join the ranks of the Einherjar in Valhalla. The weak will scrape and suffer a meager existence, joining the ranks of unworthy in the depths of Helheim. Such is the cycle of life till Ragnarok comes. Harsh. They sound about as friendly as a pack of wolvers. Rune reads. These ones are short, fairly.
Yeah,
These are just like short little runic reads that weren't actual like lore tabs like these.
Well, this just pretty much translating what the little runics mean, because they all mean something.
Njord of the Vanir. to Njord we offer back the sea's bounty. For a god, Njord doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah, he's a god.
Good gods? Until gods grow good. I guess he means never. But maybe... Leave them in peace. A message from Tyr. Does he mean the giants?
What's funny is that, again, in the Poetic Eddas, they talk about all these gods and goddesses, and like they kind of sound like this, but in poetic form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Runevault clue. Thought is faster than wind.
Here's testing our minds in here. He farted. He Dutch oven us. That's what happened.
As soon as we read that when we were playing through it, he's like, thought is faster than wind. And I'm like, so is fart. Fart's faster than wind too.
Fart beats
Fart
thought in mind.
Fart beats wind. My wind. I break wind, and that beats wind. The fire realm. Oh God! Fart in the fire realm. Don't, Trace. Whatever you do, don't fart must fly.
I got a lighter, Daddy.
No, you'll kill us all.
He grabs his little mistletoe thing on his shed, lights it up.
He blows up the entire realm.
Just... oh yeah.
A flame so massive and hot even Surtur dies.
Here lies Atreus, god of fire and gas.
God of fire farts. God of fire wind.
His cousin was Shrek.
Bloodnut, the flatulent.
Bloodnut.
It's a quote from Shrek.
Oh, Bloodnut.
Bloodnut, the flatulent. Looking up at the stars. The fire realm. Can I get through these, please? The fire realm.
The fart realm.
Must merciful herm. Gauntlet of Surtur.
Multiple herm, what?
Gauntlet of Surtur. The ancient realm of fire. Now that we have the travel rune, we can go anytime and see what the challenges await.
Oh no, that sounds like Whitey from fucking Eight Crazy Nights.
The realm of fog! Niflheim, fog, and fortune! Go there, it's a technical foul! Misty realm of treasure and traps!
Okay,
I'm actually pretty good at that.
Well, we have the route to go explore. Say the curse!
Say the nibblings?
Say their what?
Nibblings.
Nibblings. Save their nipples.
Nibblings? They have baby
upon
nipples.
all who trespass.
Their nipples have nipples.
Say their nipples upon all who trespass. Poison nips. But we're invited here, right? Down with Odin, up with air. Death to the Raven God, Lord of the Hanged. She really doesn't like Odin very much.
No one likes Odin. No one likes Odin.
Talking about Freya, I think. Yeah. Sleeping monsters, don't wake him!
My mom.
That was that big ogre we faced in the mountain the second time through.
Yes, I know. I was there.
Really getting tired of being told what to do. This was when he was a little shit.
Yeah, when he was a little shit.
Giants and dwarves, Jötnar only, and also dwarves. The mountain was a stronghold of the giants in Midgard after they left the dwarves mined it dry. Mountain terror. Hreisler, that was the dragon we faced.
Yeah.
Duraflor, the stag. Jesus. A stag of the world tree who watches the gates of Jotunheim, where giants come from. This really is the giant's mountain. Keep safe the light. From darkness, keep safe the light. More like trying to keep the other elves from getting it, am I right? Keep out! Turn back, Aesir. Oh, those are magic runes. Words won't keep the Aesir away. The eternal war for the light endures. The same light we need for the Bifrost, of course. An ominous warning. Death inside. This must be old. There's plenty of death outside, too. In the jewel. Yemstini. I don't know. This is a message for Ramanvari. What does he mean? Is it something about the ring we found on his hand? Let's ask Brock.
It's a Lord of the Ring reference.
Another betrayal. One ring to rule them all.
Yeah, right.
False leader. Is this what Vandrid wrote about his father? Or what the crew wrote about Vandrid after they mutinied?
Mutinied.
Yeah. Giants! Stone giants! Welcome, Jotnar. The Jotnar had a settlement here. Giants so close to home, but how long ago? Jotnar Marketplace. Trade grounds. Found what used to be a marketplace where gods and giants would meet and trade. Must have been before the war. Island braziers. Ignite! I was able to light this brazier by reading the runes. Some kind of spell, maybe? I bet there are more of these around the Lake of Nine. Were there more people here before this was a lake? It was always a lake. Where did they all go? So many questions. I wish we could ask the World Serpent. The Dream of Midgard. Midgard was a dream of what could be if we shared and collaborated. Jotnar, Aesir, Vanir, Elf, Dwarf, and mortals, most of all. It was beautiful, but not everyone is capable of sharing. Some believe anything uncontrolled is savage and threatening. And so we were mocked and tricked and used and then slaughtered. Odin and his tribe were barred from our realm, but it was not enough. The wrath of Thor and his terrible hammer have thinned our number in Midgard to the brink of ruin. There is no option but to withdraw, while yet any live to do so. Odin and Thor would have killed all the giants if they could, and they got away with everything. Shit. I can't wait for Ragnarok just to fucking kick their asses. The Guardian returns. We foresee Midgard's fate, overrun a second hell. Neither Odin nor his dead may reach Jotunheim. I think they're talking about Fae. The ways must be shut. The Serpent and the Guardian remained. They alone shall keep our hope. When doom befalls the indestructible, only then shall the Guardian return. Until then, we await a better world, one without fear, without greed, without war. We wait for deliverance and justice. We wait for a champion. We will wait for word that gods grow good. Hope that world gets here soon. Bad options. Hunting death. Does this mean someone died during a hunt, or they were literally hunting death? Sounds rough either way. So, wow. I mean, it's not... I mean, we play a lot of good games on this channel, but not all of them are, like, as good, as well made, and as, like, thoroughly fleshed out as something like this.
Yeah.
So, as someone who has played the original trilogy of God of War games, 1, 2, and 3, never played any of the PSP handheld titles or God of War Ascension. But I am in the process of watching those Let's Plays. But I already know pretty much the whole story of Kratos and everything.
Yeah.
But you got to imagine 6 games in the franchise before this, before God of War 4, were all linear stories with a panned out camera and hack and slash like Devil May Cry combat.
Yeah.
Fighting your way through sprawling gigantic, artistic set pieces. And the cinematic cutscenes were pretty cool. But the stories were usually pretty short and sweet. You know, most of the games were only like 6 hours or so, 7 hours long. And they never had any side content. No side quests, no optional things, really. They were what they were. But like 6 games of pretty much all the same kind of like style.
Yeah.
So for Sony Santa Monica to completely redesign God of War from the ground up to be something completely different with some of the same characters but also new ones, to completely redesign the combat for what it is, for the game to be like a cinematic continuous camera shot through the entire game. This game is such a fucking masterpiece. It's so good. The storytelling and the character development is like watching a great, like, Academy Award-winning movie. It's ridiculous. And the combat, having had 6 games of all the same combat style, the combat in this game is a welcome change. It's very grounded. You have to try to be very strategic.
Yeah.
About what you're doing in combat, and make sure you keep eyes on your enemies at all times, especially when you're playing on higher difficulties and just kind of taking things down one by one. It feels very different. It's a lot more grounded. There's no defying gravity by staying up in the air and swinging your blades around.
Yeah.
Really. But a lot of, pretty much everything that is different about this game from past games is just such a welcome change. And they executed it so perfectly. And a lot of people were skeptical about it until they played it, and then they just fell in love. So, I mean, I have very little bad to say about this game. Loved it so much. We can't wait for Ragnarok to come. Can't wait for the end of the world.
Ragnarok come.
But God damn it.
That's how
Gotta
you
get
say
a healthy dose of that Ragnarok come, you know.
No, you know how you say like and Kingdom come.
Well, until
you said
Ragnarok cometh.
Yeah.
But really, there's only one like really big gripe I have about this game, and it has to do with the traversal. There's one thing, and it's when like you go to kick down a chain for like ease of access, like through certain traversal to like between 2 different platforms. Kratos and Atreus automatically grab onto the chain to go down, instead of you actually controlling them to do so. And I don't like that, because the player of the game should always have full control of where the character or characters are moving to with control of the left thumbstick. So the fact that they automatically grab onto a chain when you kick it down is very unnecessary and also misleading at times, because it makes the player feel and think, because it's happened to me several times throughout our Let's Play, it makes the player think and feel like, oh, there's a new area down here, I gotta go down and explore it because I didn't get everything. When in fact you already probably did.
Yeah.
So really it's just an easier way back down, but you don't need to automatically have the characters in the game make that motion. It's just a slight inconvenience, and it's really, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but it shouldn't be a thing. One thing I am hoping for in Ragnarok is maybe more shield skins, because your shield was your shield. They didn't really do anything, but the addition of having equipable armor and enchantments and runic attacks in this game, having RPG aspects to this game to be able to like reach a higher like character level, so you can take on the higher level enemies throughout the story, being able to gain experience to spend on your skills and upgrade your runic attacks and your runic summons. It was a great addition, having a crafting system to craft, whatever armor they decided to put in the game. The Infinity Gauntlet Easter egg was just an icing on the cake. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But if they were able to add like an extension of like what they did with the armor and being able to equip armor that did different things and increased your stats, if they were able to do something similar with shields and different shield skins, but also having The shield that you have equipped to Kratos have something to do with the gameplay. They did the same thing with the shields that they did with the armor. I think that would be a great addition in Ragnarok, for sure. Have the shield mean something because it's a part of his armor. It's a part of his defense. So just have that kind of be a meaningful part instead of just an aesthetic, kind of. Yeah. So that's one thing also that I would like to see added into the next game. Having Atreus not only be there for the story, but also have him be a valuable part of the combat in this game was simple but effective as all hell. And once you fully upgrade all of his abilities, get all of his abilities unlocked, he is pivotal.
Oh yeah.
He changes the flow of battle. There were times I hit square with an arrow when I was going for an attack, and he saved my ass from death. So Atreus plays such a great role, not only in the story but also in the flow of combat. That was a welcome addition, and I can't wait to see if they improve upon that in some way in Ragnarok as well, since he's grown up a little bit. There's going to be, there's a few year time gap between now and the events of Ragnarok, so there is that as well. So really, the only other thing I feel like I need to talk about as far as the storytelling of this game goes comes to the relationship between Kratos and Atreus. And their character arcs and development and the growth of their relationship throughout this game is amazing. To see somebody like Kratos bond with his child after everything he's done and everything he's been through is a feat probably nobody ever thought fucking possible, but it happened. And the story and the characters and everything about this story was so beautifully written. There's only one thing I don't like about it, and it's the fact that there are only 2 moments in this game where Kratos gives Atreus some gleaned information. Only 2 moments where he tells Atreus just a little bit of information about his past. And the first moment comes when he tells Atreus that he's a god from a faraway land, that he's done some horrible things, but that means that Atreus was born a god as well. And it comes after we, come back from Helheim, and it's like... And the second moment was after we killed Baldur. And, Freya was like, you'll never change. And he's like, then you do not know me. And she says, I know enough, but does he? Referring to Atreus. And it's in that moment that Kratos is like, I'm not afraid of you. He's like, hey, Atreus, listen up. But he only says that I'm from Sparta, and I made a deal with a god, sold my soul for power in exchange to conquer my enemies. I killed a lot of people who were deserving and a lot of people who were innocent.
Yeah.
And still, even in that moment, Kratos only gives Atreus the bare bones of the truth about his past. He doesn't go into any detail.
No, I'm hoping that they that he does, like in Ragnarok.
I do too.
Because obviously with the trailers that we saw, Atreus looks like he's a teenager now, like a 13, maybe 14-year-old
young teenager.
And I feel like they should have that kind of closure to actually have him actually explain in detail what he actually was and who he was and how he came to be.
Yeah.
Especially if they might bring in Odin or something like that. I
get that. And I really do hope for that too, because here's the thing about all this. Because, throughout the entire game, Kratos is trying to teach Atreus all these lessons on how to be better than he was, for good reason, because he doesn't want to see Atreus make the same mistakes that Kratos did. He kind of already did by killing Modi the way he did. But, that's past. Obviously, being a father, and as parents, we can relate to this. He doesn't want to see Atreus make the same mistakes that he did. He wants to see Atreus grow up to be better than he was. And any parent wants that for their child. Okay? But because Kratos absolutely refuses, to go into detail about his past with Atreus still has a lot of questions. And he still keeps asking questions. And he still consistently questions Kratos on the lessons that he's trying to teach him. Some of the lessons still sink in, some quicker than others. But Atreus still doesn't fully understand the why his father is trying to teach him these lessons. He's starting to get it a little bit, especially more so by the end of the game. But even in the Ragnarok trailer, you see Atreus still, he's growing up and he still has far more questions than answers as they're going through the events of that. And it's like you can still see him and Kratos still kind of butting heads quite a bit. Like, that's pretty much the dynamic of their relationship. But it's only because, and the reason why Atreus still questions Kratos so much is because he still doesn't fully understand the scope and the gravity and the why of the lessons that Kratos is trying to teach him. And I feel like Atreus would be able to fully appreciate and better understand why his father is the way he is and why he's teaching him the lessons that he's trying to teach him and raise him the way that he's trying to raise him.
Right.
If Kratos would just be completely upfront and honest about everything that he's done, everything that's happened to him, and that includes everything from selling his soul to Ares, the Blades of Chaos, and accidentally, quote unquote, murdering his previous wife and child. And I know that would make Atreus cringe a bit and flinch back. It probably would. But at this point, they both have grown to a point where I feel like Kratos could be more open and honest with him in detail. Because if he was, that would help give Atreus so much of a better understanding about all of this. And it would help him take his father's lessons more to heart.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be questioning him as much. And it would also help build a more solid foundation of identity within Atreus. So that way he'd feel more confident about himself and his abilities. It would all just build a more solid foundation of trust between the two. Especially as a father and son.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for, because
Yeah.
I just feel like it'll be a good, healthy closure for both of them. So that way Atreus actually knows where his dad is coming from and who he really is, and he can then process it, and then he can grow up having that mindset, like, oh.
And I hope more of that gets explored in Ragnarok. I pray that it does, but it needs to come from Kratos.
Yeah, not Mimir,
not Mimir, not anyone else, or anything else.
Or Freya, because I know she's gonna come back with a vengeance.
Her or Odin trying to be manipulative may show Atreus everything about his father, and having it come from him
in a better way,
would be the worst.
Well, I'm thinking, Freya might end up trying to do something, because I know she's fucking coming back for blood.
Yeah.
So it's like, how, what is she gonna end up doing? Is she just gonna end up having a battle with Kratos, or is she gonna try to manipulate the whole situation and turn Atreus against Kratos again? Or
That's
something?
the thing. It's like if any detailed information about Kratos' past and what he's done, especially about the fact that he killed his own wife and child, his previous wife and child, if any of that information reaches Atreus from anything or anyone other than Kratos, I fear
he's gonna get mad.
Well, I fear that something worse than what happened at the top of the mountain peak when he fired a shock arrow into Kratos' shoulder. I'm afraid something worse might happen, and that it might further destabilize the relationship, and I hope that doesn't happen, but we'll see. And there are another couple of moments in the story that are kind of a reflection of the point that I just made.
Yeah.
And I found this interesting because I've been watching a lot of God of War lore videos and theory videos now that Ragnarok's supposed to be released this year in 2022. It was a short little clip of when the two of them are rowing the boat across the Lake of Nine. And it was one of the stories that Kratos tells Atreus. One of those, life lesson stories. Kratos tells a story of the horse and the stag. There was a horse. A horse. The horse sought vengeance upon his enemy, a stag. But he could not kill the stag alone. The horse met a man, a hunter, and made a deal. He took the man's bit and bridle, and allowed him to ride in a saddle on his back. Together, they killed the stag, and the horse tasted victory. But the hunter would not release the horse and made a slave of him. Atreus says, so getting revenge cost him his freedom. Hope it was worth it. Kratos says, it was not. Now, at the time that I heard him tell that story, I didn't fully understand what Kratos was really trying to say to Atreus, because again, he hasn't gone into detail with him about his past. The video clip that I found on YouTube was titled, Kratos tells Atreus about Ares and how he sold his soul to him. And I'm like, what? That didn't make any sense to me. Especially since he told him in short about Ares at the end of the game, but that's not what the video was detailing. The video was about him telling this story to Atreus while they were rowing the boat. And then it dawned on me that was Kratos' way of telling Atreus in better detail about how he sold his soul to Ares for what he sold it to him for and what it cost him. But again, Atreus didn't fully understand what Kratos was trying to say, didn't understand the deeper meaning behind it or the history behind that story. Because again, Kratos doesn't go into detail about his past. When I saw that, I'm like, wow, that was very clever. Very, very clever, and I didn't fully realize it until, that moment. And so that is one big thing I'm hoping as far as story content goes for Ragnarok. That's one thing I'm hoping for. It'll be interesting to see to what other lengths they take the combat. They are trying to also improve upon the traversal and have your weapons be kind of more involved a little bit in the traversal as well in Ragnarok. So, this game start to finish was absolutely beautiful, and there's still stuff that I haven't obtained, and I'm doing New Game Plus runs to try and get more out of the game. I'm greatly looking forward to Ragnarok. This is probably one of the best Let's Plays we'll have ever done on this channel. And so our next Let's Play is more than likely going to be Horizon Zero Dawn, followed by Horizon 2 Forbidden West, because that's also coming out this year. And so probably going to do those games back to back, and then hopefully by the time we're done with those Let's Plays and we're done uploading them, if there's enough time in between the end of our Horizon 2 Let's Play and the launch of God of War Ragnarok, hopefully we'll maybe have time to do some Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. Just the main story of the 9 Lego film games, though, not any of the collectible content, because there's just going to be too much. That's just going to be way too much. Because Lego Star Wars Force Awakens and Lego Marvel Super Heroes 2, I did all the collectible content for that on this channel, and it was a lot of work and a lot of videos, and we just don't have that kind of time for that. So that's pretty much, and then once Ragnarok comes, we're going to be well on top of that, at launch. It's going to be fun. Can't wait for it. I really hope everyone enjoyed this Let's Play. I hope you all enjoy the content that me and Reaper put out for you. To everyone that watches this content, thank you so much. We do it for fun, and we do it for our enjoyment as well as yours. And that's also kind of, our review of the game and some of the lore that was written down in Atreus' journal in the game. So thanks so much for watching. My name's Dude.
This is Reaper, guys.
And we are ImTheDude Games, so please be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you can get notifications when we upload. Like this video, as well as any others of ours that you enjoy. And follow me on Twitter, link in the description as well. So, as always, stay classy, and we will see you all out there in the next adventure.